Hi, I'm Craig Barrett here with Brooke Wetzel, a promising, successful young artist in the Bitterroot Valley. And we're here to talk a little bit about Brooke's background and the upcoming Russell Art Auction. Brooke was born in western Montana, lives here now, grew up, I think, a bit in Idaho before that, and then back to western Montana. Loves the outdoors, loves art, and really have made a profession out of it. And what I've heard and what I've seen of your paintings, you love nature, you paint in oil, you do landscapes with a lot of mood in the landscape. You're really impassioned, impressed by nature, and intrigued by light. I got it right?
You nailed it.
All right, I want to just show you quickly one of her paintings, Crossing the Bitterroot, West Fork. We're all right near the West Fork as we're holding this interview, but you can see the nature, the landscape, the light. Wonderful piece. Brooke, I looked at your resume online, your bio sketch, and it basically said one of the places you really like to show your art and interact with collectors is the Russell Art Auction in Great Falls.
Yes.
It's coming up in August.
Yes.
You've been going to the Russell for how many years?
6.
6 years. What's the most exciting thing that's ever happened to you at the Russell Art Auction? Did you sell a piece of art for $200,000 or?
Well, not quite 200,000. Maybe someday, but the most memorable for me was my very first year in the auction. I believe it was 2016. I got a piece in the auction. It was really exciting for me. I had only attended the events 1 year prior to that, and I fell in love with the atmosphere and the art and the patrons, and I had met you there. And so the following year, I got a piece in there, and it sold for $10,000, which was triple the retail amount. And it was a very memorable experience for me.
That's
very
a pretty
exciting.
good introduction to the Russell in that
It
piece.
was, yes.
And how do you feel about interacting with the patrons? I mean, the Russell, the formal auction, but all the side galleries that the artists have, you get to rub shoulders with all sorts of people.
I always leave that event feeling absolutely inspired, and I take so much from it because leading up to it, I'm stuck in my studio painting and I have very little interaction. It's the life of an artist. There's very little interaction, and I bring all of my artwork out to show to the people that gather that absolutely love Western art, appreciate Western art, love the Montana lifestyle, and it's a perfect place to bring my artwork out, and I get feedback. It's just the experience is incredible and inspiring for me.
As a collector, I love it because you get to rub shoulders with the artist and look at their work side by side on a one-on-one basis, and it's really cool. I think it's a great place to interact. Obviously, you've been to the Russell Museum and you've seen the great pieces by Charlie Russell and some of the other Western artists there. Have they influenced your work at all? I mean, did Charlie do something, in that 1890, 1900 time frame that influenced you?
I think that question, most people would look at my work and look at Charlie's work and think, wow, they're very contrasting. How would he have influence on her? For me, he paints the Wild West in action, and I paint the solitude of the landscape. But when I look at his work, I think he must have been absolutely incredibly brave in his pursuit of reference material. And most people wouldn't look at my work and think that. But what they don't know is, for a lot of my reference material, I pack 50 pounds 20 miles into the mountains through rugged terrain, sleeping amongst howling wolf and getting charged by moose just to catch the sunrise on an alpine lake. And it takes a tremendous amount of bravery. So, I see Charlie's bravery there, and I am inspired by it.
Well, I think you've both demonstrated a bit of bravery. Charlie probably suffered from the lack of art focus or Amazon to buy materials and get them to where he was painting. That's a little easier today, but
Yeah.
the Bitterroot Mountains are just as rugged today as the Square Butte and the area around Great
Yeah.
Falls that Charlie painted in 100 years ago.
Yeah, I have a few scary stories.
Well, that's cool. So we're going to be in Great Falls in August, and hopefully it's going to be a great affair. Lots of artists like yourself there.
There's no doubt.
Rubbing shoulders. There'll be a great auction with lots of probably Russell pieces in it. The catalog is just about to come out now towards the end of June. Thinking ahead, what's new for you? I mean, you've really done just a superb job with this combination of nature and light. Sunset, sunrise, just strong play of light in your paintings. What's next?
Well, I think something that I've really been focusing on over the last couple of years that has slowly been developing is a body of work that depicts the great outdoors woman. And I know you've seen several of my pieces. I think you own several
of your pieces.
Of pieces that display the great outdoors woman. And, as one myself and being surrounded by them in Montana, I thought that there needed to be a little stronger emphasis on them. And so that is something that I'm really focused on. I do women's trips, floating the rivers and hiking into the mountains, and I get a lot of, reference material just being and living, and really that is my focus as far as my subject and my art goes. Right now, I've just ventured into new areas as far as gallery representation, and so that's something new for me over on the coast of Washington, Edmonds, Washington. So I'm expanding.
Well, eventually you'll be represented in New York as Russell was in the early 1900s.
Yeah, one of these days.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Brooke Wetzel. We'll see you at the Russell Art Auction in August. Be there.